Revit 2 walls. In order to complete this video, you need to make sure that you have completed the introduction video as well. In that, we set up our entire template to be able to draw walls. So this may be the first time that you're opening your new project. So to open your project that you just created, chances are, because of the way our computers are set up in the lab, you may not see that you have it as a recent file in this location. If you do, you can select that, but make sure it is yours. It should be floor plan and your initials. If you don't, the way you should open your file is under Projects, go to Open. It'll bring you to the same window that we used to save our floor plan. Under My Computer, at the very bottom, will be your student drive. Make sure you select your student drive. Again, I don't have one, but I've been using this as my surrogate. Find the folder that you've created or the document, and here is my file. So if you have a file where it says floor plan, your initials, and then a bunch of numbers after it, make sure that you do not select that file. That is a backup file. Every time you save, a backup file is also created. When you open your file, it should just be your title with no numbers after it, unless you put them there. But it'll be something like 00001 or 00002. So make sure that you select that file and click Open. Give it time to open your file, and the more things you put in this file, the longer it's going to take to open. So we left off in our elevation view, and this is our south elevation view. You can see here that it says south, and I need to be out of my south elevation view and into my floor plan first floor. So to do that, make sure you scroll all the way to the top, make sure you're under floor plans, and double click on first floor. You'll know you're back in that because under floor plans, this will now be in bold. So even when I click off of it, it's still bold because I'm still there. And also it'll say first floor here. And you'll be back to our little compass arrows. To draw a wall, you want to select the wall tool. And we are going to choose a specific type of wall. So there's different types. It gives you generic 6-inch, but that's just going to be a solid wall with nothing in it. We want an actual wall that would really be in a house. And we're drawing our outside walls first. Just like we did on paper, we want to establish the boundary of our house. So we have our exterior wood shingle on wood stud. There's also wood shingle over wood siding on wood stud, exterior wood siding on wood stud. We want wood shingle on wood stud. Once you select that, we could start drawing walls. But the problem is we have an unconnected height of 20 feet. There's two ways to change that. The first is you have a drop down right here, and then also in your properties menu under top constraint, I scrolled down to find this, we have unconnected. That is the same drop down up to level roof. I can select that, and when I mouse back over, it changes to 8 feet. You can see it changed to roof here, and it changed to 8 feet here. We're going to start by drawing a rectangle of any size. Just try and make sure that it's contained in here, and you actually can do this a little faster. We can draw a straight line, or up here in our Modify tab, we can choose the Rectangle tool. So I'm going to click on the Rectangle tool, and I'm going to diagonally click once, let go, move my mouse across until I have a rectangle of decent size, and click again. I'm going to hit my escape key. I'm going to hit it twice until everything kind of disappears. This is kind of a long way to go about things, but I wanted to show you something with this. So in order to move a wall, I need to select it first. So let me zoom in here so you can see what's happening. I'm going to select this top wall. You'll see it highlight blue, and you'll see dimension lines appear. In order to change the dimensions of this, I need to know a couple things. First, the wall that I've selected is the wall that's going to move when I change the measurement. So this is the one that's going to drop down. I'm going to click and hold on this little dot. Why am I going to do that? Because right now that line is in the center of the wall, and exterior walls get dimension to the outside or exterior. So I need to move this. So I'm going to use a couple combination keys here. So I'll run through it twice. You're going to take this center dot of your dimension line. So here's my dimension line. I'm going to take this center dot and I'm going to click and hold. Now it's attached to my mouse and I can move it around. I'm going to mouse over this wall and you'll see a dotted line appear. If I let go, it's still in the center. But if I click and hold and then mouse over it, that dotted line appears, and I want to make sure the pointer is on the outside of the wall. I hit tab and it jumps to the outside. I can also move it to the inside by mousing over that wall with my pointer on the inside of the wall, hit tab, and let go. But we do want it on the outside. So click and hold, drag it over until you see that dotted line. My arrow's over the outside, and I hit tab. And that jumps it to the outside. We're going to do it again with the other side because this dimension line is outside wall to outside wall. So click and hold, mouse over, tab, let go. Now I can change the dimension. So this wall is the one that's going to move. I come over here and I click on the actual measurement and I type in, this measurement is 28-0. I have to change my width to match. So I'm going to click on one of the side walls because it's always going to measure parallel to another wall. So that way you can get a distance from this wall to that wall. So I'm going to use the same trick again. Click and hold, tab, let go. Click and hold, tab, let go. So now it's outside to outside, and I can change this to 40-0. So that sets the outside measurements of my house. Now I want to try and center this in my view. Best way to do that, just grab it with a containment box or a boundary box and then hover over one of the walls. You get a little crosshair that allows you to drag it around. The only reason I'm centering it, it really doesn't matter, but it just makes sense in my head for it to be a little more centered on there. You don't have to do it if it's okay. So now that we have our exterior walls defined, we need to put in our interior walls. So we're going to come back over to our architecture tab. I hit the escape key twice just to get it back. I hit the wall tool, and using my selection here in the properties window, I'm going to scroll down until I see interior walls. And we have interior 4.5-inch partition. That's the wall we're going to select. And we have to set its top height to roof. You can do that here as well, and it should automatically be 8 feet. And I'm going to draw in my first wall the same way we did on our line drawing. We're going to just come about 10 feet down. We're going to have to fix this, but about 10 feet. That draws one wall, so I clicked on that wall, straight over till it snapped to 90 degrees because I'm using my single line tool. If you're getting a rectangle, it's because you have the rectangle tool selected. If you need to go back, you have the back button here, and that will remove it. But what's nice is it remembers your last selection, so it still has interior 4.5. So I'll do that again. I'm going to mouse over this wall till I get about 10 feet. And you can see the wall will snap to 90 degrees. It'll kind of stick to it. Mouse over and click on the other wall. I want to draw in my rooms also. So I'm going to draw in a room that is about 12 feet. And then I can come from this and it will give me a measurement. It can be about 2 feet. You don't have to be exact. I was 2'6" there. And then, about 9 or 10 feet and somewhere in the middle. Okay? If you need to, and maybe you messed up one of those, you can hit the escape key a couple times, select a wall, and delete it. And then draw it in again. So we're going to go through and dimensions just these walls because we don't want to get too cluttered. So I'm going to select this one. Interior walls, we want to keep it on the center line. So I don't have anything to do with that dot. But if I come up here to this one, that one's touching an exterior wall. And that has to go to the outside. So I'm going to mouse over, tab, let go. So click, hold, mouse over, tab, let go. And now I can change this measurement to be exactly 10 feet. We're going to go across and measure each one of these rooms. So I want to get this wall, and that's the wall that's going to move. So I grab this dot. Now this is when it isn't on the outside, so it'll just put a little dot, but you just grab that dot, mouse, click and hold, mouse over, tab, let go. This room is supposed to be 12 feet. This one, it's inside wall to inside wall, so I don't have to move anything. So I'm going to change that to 2 feet. Same thing with my next wall. It's inside to inside, so I don't have to move it. And that's going to be 10 feet. And the last wall should be 8 feet. And this room should be 8 feet, but if it's not, that could be two reasons. One of these walls is messed up, or if this dot is not on the outside. So if I move that to the outside, now I get 8 feet and 8 feet. We only have a couple more walls to put in here. So let's first put in our closet divider. So I selected my wall tool from the architecture tab, and I still have 4.5 partition. If you don't, make sure that you select it. And I mouse over these walls until I see the triangle. The triangle lets me know that I'm at the midpoint or centered. And I'm going to mouse over and click on both those walls. Now that wall is perfectly centered. I don't even have to dimension it. We have a couple walls left. So I'm going to put an interior wall here. And if you hover until you see that dotted line, that's automatically going to line up that wall. So now my width dimension for this room, because this one was 12 feet and this one was 12 feet, that means that these two are now lined up. And I actually don't have to dimension it, but we will still check it. I'm going to put in a little closet here and a wall for my walk-in. Okay, this should all match the drawing that we did on paper. So now I'm going to make sure all these measurements are correct. So this is supposed to be 14 feet from the exterior wall, but it's only going to here. I can grab that, so click and hold, and mouse over where I want it to be, hit tab, and now it's where it needs to be. And I can change my measurement to 14 feet. This one, outside wall, tab, this is 8 feet. This one here, outside wall, tab, 6 feet. And last but not least, this should be 2 feet. And if it already is, you can leave it. If not, it is center to center, so I don't have to move anything. And I can change it to 2 feet. Hit the escape key once you have everything dimensioned, and center this in your window, and use your snipping tool to take a screenshot. So type snipping, select your snipping tool, mode, rectangular, and save this to your student drive. Also, before you're done, make sure that you save your project. If you just click save and you already had it saved from before, it should save again. This concludes video 2, Revit 2, walls. You can now move on to video 3, doors.